Look at here. Right back at you. We here. Conversation and reviews. Trying to get set up here, so give me a moment. And we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get talk about it. Very, very, very amazing, good discussion that we're gonna have today. And yeah, that's what it's about. Getting together and really, really shedding the light on things. So, shout out to everyone that is tuning in today on this Shabbat Saturday. Actually, I want to send some shots out. Prayers go out to my family, my friends, my enemies, because you need them. Shout out to all those hardworking individuals that take pride in working hard. They take pride in what they do. Good men, nurturing women, and so forth. Grand rising to all. And acknowledging all. Excuse me. Shout out to those who aren't able to be here, that has transitioned. Shout out to those just all over the world. You know, at some point in your life, it's time to start giving back and paying credit where credit is due. Because in 2025, so much is going to be revealed. You got blessings and punishments that are about to be handed out this year alone. So without further ado, we're going to dive into this thing. This is Women's Empowerment Month. Next month, I'll be doing Men's Empowerment Month. So basically, we're talking about now women in dating and being able to shed some light on things to allow men to have an understanding and overstanding of how a woman moves, the things that a woman go through, just to give us a brief understanding so we'll know. That's all it is. Next month, I'll be doing the same thing, but the only difference is I'll be addressing the men, because men go through the same things just as a large number of women go through: abandonment, fatherless, trauma, okay? All of those issues, all of those things that when it comes to dating, if that individual have not dealt with those things, they will show up in their dating life. So without further ado, grab your shoulder pads and your helmet. Let's get this work. Let's go.
Like if you were dating a man, which you are, what type of boundaries do you feel like he should have towards you? I guess I can redirect the question.
I believe that men need to feel respected. I believe that men need to feel needed. I believe that men need to feel safe inside of their relationship, inside of their vulnerability, inside of who they are. I believe that there should be very strong boundaries around that. We've had this conversation before. I think that compromise is important inside of a relationship because it's two different people coming together.
Mhm.
However, I also feel like in order for you to be successful, you can't compromise your needs. Like we compromise our wants, but like I need oxygen in order to be able to live.
Right.
I cover this when I speak to a lot of men, okay? Because now that my channel is growing, I mean, almost at 40,000 subscribers. That's a blessing in itself. And we're growing. We're growing on YouTube. We're growing on Facebook. We're growing on Rumble, TikTok, Instagram. Growing, getting this word out. And one of the things that I speak to a lot of men, a large number of men, is men, you have to begin to set your boundaries. You have to set your boundaries, man. You have to let your yes be yes and your no mean no. Realistic boundaries. Same thing with women, a large number of women. You have to be willing to set realistic boundaries. You see? And when you go into a relationship and you don't set those boundaries, and a person does something that sends off those triggers, you're not going to know. That individual is not going to know. So overall, in that moment is proper communication. You got to establish proper communication. Let's feast.
Need to put gas in my car in order to drive. There are certain things that are required, which I think are boundaries and standards that have to happen in order for you to get anywhere inside of a relationship. So I think that ultimately you have to know yourself. So the first boundary is self-awareness, right? Who are you? What is it that you want? What are you going after? And then create boundaries around who it is that you want to be. Don't see yourself for who you are now. See yourself for where you're going and act that way.
It's kind of similar to a question that you asked one of the previous guests on our podcast. Like, would you provide for a girl that you're just dating? Like, that could be a boundary. You know what I mean? Like, because a lot of these women out here, the very second a man holds interest in them, they want them to pay their mortgage.
They don't even.
And this is this is something that comes up a lot, and we see it on social media. You know, shout out to K-Spade for sending me this footage anyway. But here's the thing. When it comes to a provider, if I'm married to you, that is my job to provide. As a husband, I provide for my family. I provide for my household. Let's be clear. In the dating phase, in the relationship phase, when it comes to providing or provide with something, we all adults here. Okay. Let's be on our way.
Even have to have interest.
They don't even have mortgages.
This is like a little bit of time. Oh, I've texted you 13 seconds. And now, can you send me to get my nails done? Nah, Trick, can you send you to get your nails done? I don't even
understand the audacity you have to have.
You know what is crazy though? I will say, like, every time I go get my nails done, almost, well, not every time, but a lot of the times I'll do like a little photo of like my nails and my feet in the little tub. I get so many men in my inbox that are like, send me your Cash App. I want to pay for your nails. Send me your Cash App. And I say, that's so sweet of you. Thank you so much for that thought. But I have to respectfully decline because I also feel like if anybody can give you money, it goes back to exclusivity. What's special about my man?
Hold on. I understand where she's coming from. Now here is where I bang on the men for a minute. We call that simping. We don't do that. Real men don't simp. And next month, when we go into men's empowerment, I'm going to cover that. Why is a large number of men simping for women that ain't theirs? And it makes way for a large number of women to behave that way. Okay, now it's transactional. I said it time and time again. We're going to call that thing out. Adult conversations. Conversations and reviews. If you got a man that leans in with his money and his status, yeah, that sounds about right. He deserved to get taken advantage of. Look at how you leaned in instead of being your authentic self. You can't get mad when it blows up in your face. Let's continue.
You know, like I don't like, I get a,
Wait, say that again.
if anybody can pay for my nails, if anybody can get my hair done, if anybody can send me money, like what is special, that's reserved for my man. If anybody can do those things for me, like, I don't know. I guess I just.
So you feel like if a man that's interested in you wanted to, like, let's say fly you out and just let you have a spotter, like they want to take you away from the stresses of your day. They don't want to do nothing with you. They gonna be doing anything. They just like
rest.
Like, just ma'am, just come here and just rest.
I have those offers right now.
But you wouldn't take it?
No, I haven't taken it. Not I wouldn't. I say no often.
But why? Because you want to reserve that type of access from your man?
Yeah, I feel like exclusivity, like everybody does.
And I liked it. I like the fact that she said that. See, modern feminist women of today ain't thinking like that. No, you fly yourself out. Don't have random men fly you out. You already know it's transactional. You already know what's coming up behind that. Fly yourself out. Have enough self-respect as a woman, even to say, no, thank you. Reserve those spots, like the sister said, reserve those spots for your man. I wish a woman would ask me to fly her out. No, you fly yourself out. But this is where we've gone to. You see, the entertainment industry, social media. Look what it's done to a large number of women. Not all, a large number of women. Look what it has done to them. The mindset. And then when things don't go their way, they have a damn meltdown. Well, damn. Let's go.
Doesn't get everything. Now, Grant, I would take that from a friend. You know, if a friend were like, and I mean genuine friend, no interest. Like if he was like, you know what, you need to just go rest, take a girlfriend, go rest. Okay, maybe. And even that can get a little tricky sometimes, because then I think I would be thinking like, are you really my friend, or are you doing stuff for extra credit? I don't know. I just get weird when it comes to money stuff, to be honest.
Time will always tell. People can only hide their tails for so long.
That's true. But I also feel like in
I agree. People will only hide their tails for so long. But in this day and age, they showing it right off the back. Right out the gate, they showing you who they are. You ain't gotta wait. You don't, the terminology, in due time I'll see how you move. They showing you right out the gate. After the initial meet, they showing you. Gotta pay attention. Ladies, you have to have some self-respect and some class about yourself. And stop disrespecting yourself. And let me just make this one thing clear. A large number of Black women disrespect themselves so much, so freely, especially on social media, it is pathetic. And publicly, in real time, it is pathetic. The behavior. Okay.
Side of the whole like money thing. I just feel like there are certain things that need to be reserved and exclusive. And if anyone can do it, then what makes you a person special? I just feel like there needs to be a level of respect for that position.
Honestly, I've never been the girl. I ain't gonna say I've never been a girl, but I've never, like you said, taken that type of offer before, unless it was my man. Like, oh, I've never even came to a man with his hand out. Like, I don't even feel physically comfortable when a man says, "Oh, I'm gonna do." I'm like, bro, like, what is it that I can do for you? Because there's just no way that I'm just gonna come to you and you just gonna have me with my hand out and I just take from you and I can at the very least give something back.
Not when dating. Now, I will say when I'm in a relationship, because when I'm in a relationship, things change for me. Like, I can't tell you when I'm in a relationship, I attract men that desire to monetarily provide as well as provision in other ways. When I'm in a relationship, I don't even have to live with that person.
Okay.
You know, like that's my experience. But inside of
Everyone has different experiences. In a relationship, it's teamwork. In a relationship, we provide, once again, that word provide. When we're married, yes, my job is to provide. My job is to provide for my household. In a relationship, we are a partner. We are a team. Let me put it clear as day. I spoil you, you spoil me. I take care of you, you take care of me. It's not just all about the finance part of it. We have to be more realistic when we talk about relationships. We have to be more realistic when we talk about what things are we willing to do for each other. And that goes simply by having a conversation. Most do not want to have that type of conversation. What are you here for? What is your intentions with me? Those should be the magic questions. And just sit and listen for the answer. Proper communication, setting boundaries. In a relationship, it's us.
Of dating, no.
I love that for you.
I don't want to get money from a stranger. Unless it's like I'm doing a fundraiser or something, but like for my personal gain, I'm not interested.
Right.
It's just not giving.
Right. Okay. This next question, bro. It's not even a question.
She's rubbing her eyebrow. It's giving Dr. Evil. Is it Dr. Evil?
Oh,
what
wow.
does he do? Is it
yeah,
pinky?
that he does that. Yeah.
It's giving pinky face.
It's not. I'm not frustrated at this question.
Okay.
I just know that you may not have an answer to this question, and I really just want to see your response when I ask it.
Oh God, I'm scared.
It's not even a question. It's more of a statement. Share a 50-50 love. I was like, I can't even say.
Wait, what? I don't understand. That was it?
Yeah, they want you. See what I mean? That's.
Did I make a face?
Yes, you're like, what? Like,
I don't understand. What does that mean? Share a 50-50 love?
Yeah, like explain what that looks like in your opinion, in your perspective.
I don't know that. I can't relate. You know what? I'm gonna say 50-50.
Girl, get that.
It's something how when you mention 50-50 now, the response is like always negative when you talk about 50-50. Here's the thing. I'm going to break it down to you. Shout out to Mushroom Coffee. Maybe that's something I should have had in my marriage. And Probably I've been married more than 14 months. But here's the thing: 50-50, partnership, teamwork, us. It is all the same thing. Okay. Let me make that perfectly clear. One of the things my coach, Coach G, always talks about: togetherness. That togetherness, same thing. We work together. We push weight together. We tackle obstacles together. We laugh together. We cry together. Any and all things that we do it together. Didn't say nothing about finances, did I? When you are joined and you are with your teammate, you with your partner, all those things come together. Finance, mental, spiritual, emotional. All of those things come together. A large number of individuals forget that. They acknowledge what they want to acknowledge. Money. Well, in a marriage and a relationship, it's more than just that. What else? How about being each other's peace? Do you know how to pray? Are you willing to stand with your mate? Heaven forbid something should happen and they lost their job. Are you the type of person to stay or run? If most ain't going to say it, I'm going to say it. Why? I believe we are adults. We should have adult conversation. We should put the truth in proper perspective in more ways than one so that many can understand. So now we have a clear understanding, overstanding of what 50-50 means. Teamwork. We both going in. We're both contributing. We're both adding value. We're helping each other. We're both bringing something to the table of a relationship, of a marriage. I'm taking what I have. She takes what she has, and we come to the table with it. And we talk about it. We work at it. Let's go.
You know what it is? I think it's hard for me to go there because my experience hasn't
Been that. Yeah.
You know, like literally like over a decade, my experience hasn't been that. So it's hard for me to even
break your brain to try to understand that.
Yeah, because I don't understand a man that wouldn't want to figure out at least how can I? Like maybe initially, even in my like broke days, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a time where I was struggling to put gas in my car, food in my fridge, and I hustled my butt off, you know? Like I really built from the ground up. And it's crazy because I think about when I first started and me and my boyfriend at the time when we were both starting inside of our businesses and we were both hustling and we were both figuring it out. We didn't live together. So there wasn't a 50-50 situation as far as bills go. He did treat me practically to every meal as much as we could, or we would meal prep together, you know, and maybe sometimes I get the groceries, he would. But I honestly feel like I don't understand because you have to remember our audience. And for those listening, y'all might get a little triggered when I say this.
Yeah.
Not every man is masculine by nature.
Right.
In fact, we live in a generation where men are much more feminine in their nature, mostly because they were raised by women, right? And a woman cannot teach a man how to be a man because she's not one, never has been one, doesn't experience it. I mean, granted, there's some changes happening now, but we're not talking about that, right? So I do feel like.
But we also living in a generation now where when it comes to dating, it puts you in a place of it's more challenging now when it comes to dating. What I mean by challenging, meaning the things that you have to go through, versus dating before, you didn't have to go through all of that of what we're going through now. Back then, it wasn't about the money, how much money you have to spend on the first date. It wasn't transactional. Back then, in the early 2000s and the 90s, dating was fun. It was simple. I mean, we had conversations on the phone. We went out to go eat. It wasn't about the man's supposed to do this, the man's supposed to do that. Look, you hungry, I'm hungry, let's go eat. I got $20, you got $20. You know 20 and 20 is 40. And we went out and we had fun. We ate, we had a good time. Then afterwards, we went for a walk at the park. We went to the beach and walked in the sand. You see, it didn't take much, but we had fun together. We enjoyed being in each other's presence. And that's what we're missing now. When you fast forward now into real time, animals show their love for each other more than humans do. If I want to date someone, I have to provide with something, because it doesn't work. It doesn't help. It's not serving me being myself, being my authentic self. Let's continue.
To have no desire to do more, to provide more, that's hard for me, because I'm talking about men on the higher end of the spectrum of masculinity.
So okay, I have a friend, and we talked about this recently.
Okay.
That hates the idea of high value man or woman. Like, he hates that term.
Okay.
Right. Even I don't agree, but still.
I mean, it's fine.
Yeah. What would you say to a guy that's similar to him that doesn't necessarily understand what it means to be high value? Because it's like sometimes people just don't even understand what that means. They've never seen it before. So they just want to go to work with their regular job and like make less than $100,000 a year and find a wife and figure out how to struggle with her. Because you can't have a wife making less than $100,000 a year unless y'all live a very below basic lifestyle. Like, at this point, everybody has to be making at the very least $100,000 a year.
I disagree with that, because I know people. He makes about $50,000 a year. She makes about $40,000. That's $90,000 a year, and they're good. They're not struggling. Bills is paid, and they got 2 kids. Nobody's struggling. Nobody having hard times. So again, and when it comes down to it, they both come with something of value to the table. When you have your ish together, you are high value. When you don't operate worldly, you are high value. When you stand on business and you stand on integrity, you are high value. When you are kind to yourself and kind to others, you are high value. Let's be clear about that. It's not just about finances. So whatever the two individuals have an understanding with, and that works for them, that works for them.
With today's economy, especially if you want a wife and children.
I'm
So-
not disagreeing. I'm just listening.
Yeah, so it's like, what? I guess my question to this don't got nothing to do with the questions that's on here. My question to you would be like, how do you help somebody understand the necessity of being high value, or do you accept the fact that, you know what, this ain't for everybody?
It's not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I think each household gets to decide what it is that they want. And I don't think there's a right or wrong way to do it. But I think I've said this on the podcast. We had another person that said it on the podcast. Just because you're a man does not mean that you're qualified to lead. Just because you're a man does not mean that you are masculine. And just because you are a man does not mean you should be a husband. Those are all things that you should be qualified for. There's a standard to have those things. And just like for women, just because you're a woman, that doesn't mean you're a wife. Just because you're a woman does not mean you know how to be submissive, you
That's
know?
true.
And just because you're a man or woman does not make you high value.
That's true.
So you get to decide for yourself inside of your own household what makes the most sense for you. Now, this
I can see that in some ways. But here's the thing, when it comes down to it, know who you are and whose you are in the season of your life. Most are not relationship nor marriage material. And we see that. Why gloss over that? Why? A person that would lie to themselves would lie to you. You have some that are relationship material. You have some that are not relationship material. You have some that are marriage material, and you have some that are simply not marriage material. You have some that are parent material, and you have some that are not parent material. Let's be clear about all of that. Yes, dating can be challenging. And oftentimes you have to be willing to look at yourself. Look self within. Why do you keep attracting this same type of individual? Maybe you need to change your pattern. Maybe you need to change the way you think. Maybe you need to change the way you move. There's certain things. If you got childhood issues, you need to deal with that before you can get into another relationship. Oftentimes we see, and this goes both for a large number of men and women, oftentimes we see individuals getting into relationships, getting married, know damn well they're carrying the baggage of their past, but yet wonder why the relationship or marriage fails. I'm going to let that marinate.
This is my question. Because what that also says to me is, if you've never gotten out of your environment, like if you've only ever seen people struggling paycheck to paycheck, and you've only ever been around complainers and negative Nancys and those types of energies, what are you doing to get outside of that? If you're complacent in that, that's fine. You do you. But if you aspire to have more, you've got to get around different.
Right.
So what are you doing to get around different? And then the woman, what would make her okay with even being complacent inside of that energy?
Yeah.
I don't feel like any man that comes around my space would even feel comfortable in his own essence feeling complacent.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I don't inspire you to want to do more, be more, and have more, throw me away.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah.
You know, so that's my opinion. I really don't think, and that's what I think is so important. There's not a right or wrong way to do something, but there's a lot of men that think they're these high value, masculine, high level leadership men.
And they're not.
And they're not that.
Mhm.
And it's a hard pill to swallow. But if it's the truth, and the truth shall set you free. So you can actually get on the path of what it is that you want.
I feel.
But oftentimes too, we have to be willing to understand and recognize not only who we are, but what it is that we're going after. Okay? When we talk about high value. Or let's put it this way. when we talk about a man dating a woman with good sense, or vice versa, dating a woman with good sense. So when we talk about these things here, and we really set the stone for it, a large number of men, especially the masculine men, the men that are leveled, the men that know what it is that they want and need. Like a large number of women tell me, big truck, what are you looking for? And I have to tell them, hold on. Shout out to everybody. I always tell women, I'm not looking for anything, but I'll tell you what I need from you. You see, when you're able to come to be in that place, in that space where you can tell an individual what you need from them, now it's saying something. It's saying a whole lot. Same thing with the woman. Tell a man what you need from him, but be realistic. Be realistic about it. And the more we see men doing that exact same thing and stand on what they're saying, because, I dip and dabble. I dabble with law enforcement. Okay. So one of the things I've always been taught, integrity is everything. Tell the truth when nobody's looking. You got to be willing to be honest with yourself and also honest with the person that is sitting across from you. Let me make that perfectly clear. Let's continue to eat.
I feel like as a person, I'm speaking for myself, as a person that is in her healing journey and like learning how to set proper boundaries and know what she wants and doesn't want and actually speaking on them, because I will be the one that suffer in silence. People pleaser. I was the biggest people pleaser. I'm learning day by day not to be that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like and what's helped me is, us becoming friends and gaining my soul sister goddess tribe. And it's like, I realized like, hanging out with y'all, I absolutely refuse to accept what I used to be okay with. Like, I can't function in that anymore. And it's just like, okay, now I see what it means to outgrow people. And now I see what it means to, when you want better, you do better. And and it's like, and whoever comes along with you is gonna come along with you, and whoever doesn't, they can get left. Yeah. Like I physically see that unfolding in my eyes, and I think a lot of people's problem is that they want better, but because they don't know how to do better, or they feel like they don't have the time or the energy, they just stay complacent.
Can't do it.
Yeah, like that would be his excuse. Like, I'm tired. Like, I have a manual labor job. Like, I don't want to.
I like the fact that she touched on that. How many people do we know that are like that are complacent where they are at, that are just complacent? Long as I got the bare minimum, I'm good. No, you're not. You're not. Because it shows in your behavior you're not good. Look, when it comes to studying facial micros and body language, you're not good. And listening, you're not. Too many people are complacent. No, in order to become better, do better, have better, and etc., you have to be willing to change your mindset. The way that you think has to change. The way that you respond has to change. The way that you react has to change. Boy, this mushroom coffee make you be on one and make you spit that knowledge. Let's continue.
Come home from lifting engines and then have to worry about building a pocket. I said, why not? You sit at your desk and play video games for hours before you go to sleep. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, I think there's importance in rest. I do think I was listening to a book this morning, actually, and it was talking about like there's power in the simmer. And what I mean by the simmer is before the water boils, you get it. Like before things get hot and you're ready and you're cooking and you're this and you're that. Sometimes a simmer is useful. And what a simmer is, when everything is just, it's doing what it needs to do. It's chilling, it's quiet, it's good to go. Right. But it's still required sometimes to turn up the seasoning. It's still required sometimes to make that flavor a little more flavorful, right? And so inside of that, there's power inside of your rest, because sometimes if you're not resting, you actually can't really function in the day because you're so overwhelmed and you're so tired and you're so all of these things, right? And so it's okay to rest. But are you resting, or are you stuck inside of the pattern of go to work, come home, play video games, watch TV, go to sleep, go to work, come home, play video games, watch TV, go to sleep? Like there
a large number, especially when it comes to, once again, dating and wanting to spend time and so forth. We'll start to notice, or we start to hear, I'm always working. I have no time to do anything. It's a pattern. If you have children, work, deal with the children, no time for myself. Or the only time I have time for myself is when I send the children off to their father or grandma and grandpa. Work, the function of the house, cook, work, children. It's too much going on. But the blessing comes when you're able to have that, be in that meditated state of mindset where things are at peace, everything is calm, you're able to breathe, you're able to assess the situation and say, I have to create peace. I have to create balance. A large number of individuals do not have balance. They're just all over the place. I know I need a man. I don't need a man. All men are trash. I want one, but I don't need. Stop the cap. You got to be able to create balance. You got to be able to create that peaceful place where you can rest, where you can breathe, where you can assess, you can maneuver. So many people get caught up in their work and get caught up in other things that they forget about self. And they lose their self in their careers and everything else. And before you know it, Elohim had already sent you somebody. But you turned that person away. And that was the person that would have been your blessing, your teammate, your partner. Let's go. Reality is something else. Reality will give you a lot to think about. Let's go.
There's got to be a balance of all of those things, right? So I think that's the difference. And call a spade a spade. We got to start telling the truth, y'all. We got to start telling the truth, because so many of us, I've said it once, I've said it before. Nobody lies to themselves like we do. Girl, you look good.
You look good, girl.
Naomi just came in. You look good. Okay. You look good. Okay, back to work. Sorry, guys. All right, here we go. So that's my answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now this is a great question too.
Ready.
How do you handle your new person's trust issues that were there before you came along? I say you don't. Don't come with me with trust issues.
Yeah, that's tough. So this is the thing. Is that person worth the drama and the trauma you've got to fight through? And what I mean by that is, if you are brand new to this person, because trust issues comes with accusations, trust issues comes with projection, trust issues comes with a lot.
Emotional overwhelm.
Yeah, honestly, emotional dysregulation and emotional, unintelligence, right? And so I feel like that's really challenging because we live in a world where, and maybe this is a question for another day, but I feel like women can be so emotional that you actually forfeit a good man.
Mm.
Some can be so emotional where they self-sabotage and shoot themselves in the foot from a good man. Some will even have, see, that emotional place, reacting off of emotions instead of being logic. When they talk about trust in relationships, things are going to be so brand new. At some point, we've all struggled with trust issues. We all struggle with it. We get it. But it comes a point to where you have to be willing to allow a person to like you. A large number of individuals do not allow an individual to like them. Trust is trust. I always say, if a person like you, they're going to show it. If a person wants to be with you, they're going to show it. I can sit up here and say, I like this person. Yeah, but what your actions say? What your actions say? What does your actions produce? One of the things my boss always says, don't tell me, show me. Relationships is easy to have. A large number of individuals make them difficult. Why? I do not know.
Like, don't be so caught up in your drama and your trauma that you lose a good man.
That you like, so like you're saying that they're so emotional that they bleed all over their person.
Yeah, you bleed all over the people that didn't even cut you.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, dang, I didn't ask for this. So I think the way to deal with it is most times you don't have to take on a person that has trust issues. That's on them. Or they have to be willing to be emotionally regulated enough to fight for what it is that they want. What I mean by that is, if you have a woman, like, we give birth, okay? I don't think there's anything harder on this planet to do than physically giving birth. There's nothing more painful. There's nothing more laborious. And maybe it's for a shorter period of time. But in that time, that is one of the hardest things on the planet to do. Why is it that we can give birth, but you can't watch your tone? We can give birth, but you can't check your volume?
I wish you could see my
girl. We could give birth, but you can't regulate your own emotions,
because like, I feel like it's in us. It's innate in us to give birth. Like, we were created.
It's innate in us to have intuition.
You're right.
And to communicate and to flow. But you can't just that there's a difference between innate, as in what's instinctual for us to do, and us innately or instinctually responding to trauma we haven't taken the time to heal.
I feel like, because this
boy, come on now. Now, and brother speaking in tongues. What are you willing to do different that you've never done before in order to have something different that you never had? We got to be willing to tell the truth, our truth. We have to be willing to sit down as adults and say, hey, look, this is where I come from. And because of where I come from is the reason why I behave this way. Nobody's perfect. There's no perfect man out there or no perfect woman out there. But there is someone that is good for us. How would we know if we don't give it a try? Won't even know what that's like because we self-sabotage every damn thing every time and nitpick on why that person was not chosen. I've never seen so many people nitpick on why they didn't choose that person. Well, we can be friends. I'll put you in a friend zone. Oh, but don't let a good person come and snatch you up. Because now we're not friends no more. I'm going to be angry with you. You're supposed to be there for when I need you. Nah, it don't work that way. When a person gives you an opportunity and you don't take advantage of that opportunity, somebody else takes advantage of that opportunity because they recognized it and they see the worth in that. All is fair in love and war.
This has been my experience, right? When it comes down to trust issues. I know I have a lot of growing to do, a lot of healing to do, a lot of inner child healing that I need to do. And I'm actively making steps to do that. However, in my relationship, I found myself being triggered by things I didn't know was there. So let's speak to the person who doesn't know that they're triggered in areas until they're triggered. Because when I got triggered, all I wanted to do is just get out of there. Because it was so overwhelming. Nobody likes being triggered.
That is a very good question to bring up because you have some individuals that are being triggered and they didn't even know it, and it goes back to counseling. It goes back to those childhood events. It goes back to your past. Okay. A large number of men and women have, for the most part, have some trauma events that took place in their childhood and they didn't deal with it. So because they didn't deal with it, this is the outcome of that. It shows up in your love life. It shows up in your social life. It shows up in your everyday life. And when a person does something that triggers you, especially you didn't know that thing or what that individual did triggers you, and it sends you back to that place that you're familiar with. If it's not that place that you are familiar with, you go back to doing what you were familiar with, what you're accustomed to. Instead of saying, wait a minute, let me acknowledge this. It's not that person's fault. That person didn't know. Hell, I didn't even know. But that's when the conversation needs to be had at that moment.
But that's not emotionally mature.
Well, when you're triggered, that's where the growth comes in. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Why is it that you can go through some of the most painful, heart-wrenching, like
physical pain,
like women are so strong. We are so strong, but you can't be strong enough in yourself to get that little devil out of your head and off your shoulder.
Yeah.
Like you've got to learn to be emotionally regulated. And I honestly feel like so many women will forfeit or surrender great men because they can't tame the beast within. Like, who are you talking to and why are you talking to him like that?
Yeah, I can understand that. I feel like when I've done a better job at my thing is, like, my problem is communication. Sometimes when I feel a way, it's hard for me to express it until I can't take it anymore. But
So you carry things, which a large number of women do. They carry things. They carry it into the pit of their spirit and then blow up. And when they blow up, it's World War III. But hold up, though. You have a large number of men that carry things too. You see? So here's all these the carrying stuff instead of dealing with stuff. You carry it. It's like a boiling pot of water until that water boils to a point where it boils over. And when that water boils over, oh Nelly. So that's what we're seeing with that. Let's continue. I told you it's going to be some gems in this one. Pure gold. Allowing men, but also allowing women, a large number of women, to see themselves. Like, wow, do I really behave that way? Let me change my outlook on life in relationships, giving it a different perspective that I had before. Let's continue.
But now that's becoming less and less and less. And it's just like, okay, so besides like running for the hills, communicate like, hey, I'm extremely triggered.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I kind of just want to back out, but I don't think that's the right choice. So what do you think we should do to navigate this? Because I cannot, like, this is something that has brought something that I didn't know existed.
Yeah, and then you also have to remember that there are some men too that have so much of their own trauma that they only respond to toxicity. Like, I'm realizing some people you can't even have a grown conversation with of I'm triggered because there's no response to want to have the conversation or fix it. It's not until you say things like, I absolutely hate XYZ, or I can't stand XYZ, or that's what they need, right? So you really got to decide whose traumas and dramas are worth it to fight through. Because
let me just say, using my marriage as an example, there were some traumas there, a lot of traumas. And the attack when a person that has not dealt with childhood traumas verbally, emotionally, and mentally attack you, that person is coming from a place where those events that took place were so painful that they felt comfortable letting it out by lashing instead of acknowledging, facing it, and healing from it properly with counseling. Okay? So even though I may have my own demons, I may have my own past childhood events, then here, this individual's coming at me with it, with theirs, blame shift. It puts me in a place of, wow, neither one of us was ready for this union. You come from a place of toxicness because it shows in your behavior. You see? But yet, we were taught not to talk about it. Don't share this with nobody. Just keep it out. Damn that. Things like this need to be talked and shared about because it exists and we see it every day, all day. And individuals are so traumatized behind that type of abuse, that They don't, some of them don't even want to marry. Some of them don't even want to get into relationships because it's too painful, it hurts, and they don't want to deal with it. Let's go.
Honestly,
We
if
all
you
trauma.
we all
we
do,
all.
but if you've done a level of work on your own evolution and your own healing, you don't have to choose a person that's committed to their BS.
Oh,
You know?
that's what it is. You can't care more than they do.
Yeah,
Dang.
it's true.
Committed. I ain't never heard it like that before. Committed to their own BS.
Yeah,
That's a bar.
unwavering about it.
That's a bar. I was literally just talking to my best friend about that. He's in a poly relationship, and he was saying that how he had to check one of his girlfriends because she was like emotional.
It was just, everybody, you give someone a chance, you give it a try, you should give it a shot. And ultimately no one was a bad person. It's just, we don't work, like even in my last relationship that I was just referring to, he's not a bad person. He's just weak. And look, the truth is the truth. If you fold under pressure, that's weak to me. If you're seeking validation from other people, that's weak to me.
What do you mean by fold under pressure? Like, what do you mean by that?
Where you allow your outside circumstances or situations to change how you show up. You fold under pressure. And if you are...
Now, I can honestly say you have a large number of men and women. They behave in that exact same way. They do that exact same thing. I'm going to let this thing play a little bit longer, for a little bit. Then I'll give my final thoughts. And we're gone.
looking for, like, does this person think that I'm this, and does this person think, I don't care what clothes you have on, what house you live in, or what car you drive. That doesn't mean anything. What means something is your character. I mean, it means something. Don't get me wrong. Money is important. Okay. Like Zig Ziglar says, it's right up there with oxygen. But if you make a lot of money and you have trash character, my answer is no.
Right.
There are women that will let you get away with that, just like there are men that will let you get away with just having beauty. They're one and one for each other on the account of the other.
Yeah.
Right. But for me, I want it all. And I feel like I do. And I don't feel bad for saying it. Some people will be like, oh, Sarah's all about the money. Oh, that's not just it.
Yeah.
I'm about the money, the spirituality, the mindset, the mentality, the emotional regulation, the energy, the essence. I want it all.
I think it's because everything you just listed, right? Only one of those are tangible. If you think about it, only one of those things you can see.
Yeah.
Everything else is inward.
Yes.
So of course, when you hear, like, if you have a low vibrational person and they hear that, they think, oh, she's all about money. But I'm like, dog, if you know her, you love her. I promise you.
I get where she's going with it. In order to understand someone, you have to be willing to spend time with someone. A large number of individuals are not willing to take the time to spend with someone. Enjoy being in that person's presence. Okay? There's nothing wrong with all those other things because they're realistic. Truth be told, the man wants the same thing too. He wants it all. So now you got two people that both want the same thing. To me, those are the individuals that will have a healthy relationship. Those are the individuals that will have each other's back. Those are the individuals who will make it through the storms. Those are the individuals that have peace. Those are the individuals that are willing to make it work. And it's rare that we have that. Not to say we don't have it. It's just rare. Man, I'm feeling something today. Let's go.
This is to anybody watching. I'm like a bulldog over Sarah, bro. I just cannot allow anybody in our space like slick hate on Sarah, and I'm in the same room and I don't say nothing. I just can't, because
upset because women don't want to date you. Why would, if I don't, and this is what you have to remember too. I'm going to give it for men and for women, and I've said this before. Men, If you wouldn't choose the woman that has to lose 100 pounds, but you see her going to the gym every single day, would you choose her off jump if you don't have to? Odds are innately, and this is not to call out bigger women, smaller women's sizes. This isn't even about that. This is about human nature. The truth is, unless you have a fetish, that usually doesn't happen. That's just it's just the truth. And there's nothing good. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing bad. It's just human nature.
I don't
wait, before you get to that.
Okay.
Women, the same way how men want human nature, how men want an aesthetic, women want security. Why would you not work the system to your favor? People get so upset about, oh, well, that man only has her because he makes money. Then make money then. That woman only got that because she's pretty. Then do something about it.
I can only speak for the friend that I have. He's overweight. He does not take care of himself.
I already knew you were going to say that.
So I'm realizing that those type of people live a certain type of life that is very low vibrational. But the thing that makes me feel the type of way is that they don't see that this low vibration. I think it's like normal to be that way.
And that's okay. He should choose someone in that level. And that being said, I don't want to weaponize weight because that's not my intention.
Choose someone in the level that you're in. If you moving a certain way, date someone that moves the exact same way you move. Period. That's it. That's all. When you know who you are and whose you are in the season of your life, only you know you. Date someone that moves like you. And be realistic with it. I want to thank everyone for chiming in. Once again, this is Women's Empowerment Month. Every Shabbat Saturday, I will have a live video footage. Next Saturday is going to be good too. We're going to bring it home. We're going to shut it down. There's always someone for everybody. In order to have something different, you must be willing to do something that you've never done. Sometimes you need to step out of your own way. Sometimes you just need to listen, conversate more. If a person is leaning in with good intentions, please, ladies, don't turn that man away. Especially if he's leaning in with good intentions. Especially if he's telling you what his intentions are. Don't turn that man away. Vice versa. Good people don't come by every day. And when you do come across someone that is good, keep that person close. Life is too short. With that being said, go live your best life. Please comment, like, subscribe, and share this video. Hope it was good for you as it was good for me. Until we meet again, it's your boy Big Truck. I love y'all. Be safe out there in them streets.